Hello guys, I gave an interview on 28th January 2025 and the client was the Bombay High Court and they asked me some questions from MySQL, some questions from PHP, code igniter and little bit front end. So they asked me what is indexes in MySQL. So I said an index in MySQL is a database structure that improves the speed of data retrieval operation on a table at the cost of additional storage and maintenance overhead. It works similarly to the index of a book, allowing MySQL to find row much faster without scanning the entire table. So then they asked me types of index in MySQL. So I said the first is the primary key index, which automatically create when you define a primary key. So let us suppose you create a table, create table name is users, ID int that is primary key, name varchar 50. So the primary key will be the index. Second is the unique index, which ensure all values in a column are unique. So create unique index idx underscore email on user's email. So this is a unique index. Third is the regular, that means the non-unique index. Speed up queries for column with duplicate values. Create index idx underscore name on user's table and in the bracket name. Fourth one is the full text index. For full text index, search in a large text field, that is character varchar text, only support on INNODB or MyISAM. So how can we declare full text index in MySQL? Create full text index idx underscore description on articles description. Fifth one is a composite index based on multiple columns. Create index idx underscore name underscore email on user's name email. Sixth, spatial index that is used for the geospatial data. So they asked me how to use index. So I said create an index, create index idx underscore column on table name, column name. Second, drop an index. Drop index idx underscore column on table underscore name. View existing index. Show index from table underscore name. Benefit of using index: faster data retrieval. Improve performance of select, join and where queries. These are the benefit of using indexes. First is the faster data of retrieval and another one is the improve performance of select, join and where clause. Then what are the limitations of indexes? So it increased storage requirement and it is slower in insert, update and delete operation IUD. So second question they asked me how many indexes can be built if we have 16 fields. So I said generally limits for MySQL INNODB, maximum number of indexes per table is 64. Maximum number of column is in composite index 16 columns and maximum key length is 3072 bytes for INNODB. So for 16 field maximum we can create 16 indexes. Index scenario for 16 field. Given 16 field, the theoretical combinations are single column indexes. You can create 16 unique single column indexes as I have already told. Composite index, you can combine up to 16 columns in each index but are still limited to 64 total indexes. Then example index combination. First, single column index. Create index idx underscore field 1 on table underscore name and field 1. Similarly, create index idx underscore field 2 on table underscore name field 2. So this will show on. This gives 16 simple indexes. Composite index example, create index idx underscore composite on table name field 1 field 2. Create index IDS composite 2 on table name field 3 field 4. Here is how to create a table with 16 field and add index in MySQL. So first of all we will create a table, create table example table, and field 1 integer, field 2 integer, then varchar, then text, date, float, int, varchar, boolean, character, timestamp, decimal, begin, enum, blob. Step 2, what we are doing, we are creating 16 field and index. Then step 2 is create 16 single column index. So create index idx underscore field 1 on example underscore table field 1. So like that we can create a 16 indexes here. Last one is a create index idx underscore field 16 on example underscore table field 16 and 100. Blob require length. Okay. Then they asked me the joins. Joins in SQL. SQL joins are used to combine rows from two or more tables based on related column between them. Let us suppose you have created a database named Chandra. Create table employees. There is one table name employee and int primary key name varchar department ID. Just a second. I changed my database name is Bombay High Court. Then create table name is employees, and then we have three column ID, name and department. Then we insert a dummy data ID, name and department. Then create another table called department, create table departments, and we'll create two columns ID and department. Then insert a dummy data into ID and department. So these are two tables. Now they asked me what is inner join. So I said which return only the rows where there is a match in both table. So what is the query for inner join? We have created two tables. Okay, one was the employees, another one is the department. So select employee ID as employee ID, employee name as employee name, department name as department from employees. Then inner join department on employees dot department ID equal to department dot ID. Then they asked me the left join. So I said return all rows from the left table and the matched row from the right table. If there is no match, null value are written or column from the right table. For example, select employee ID as employee ID, employee.name as employee name, department.department name as department from employees table. Left join department on employees.department_ID equal to department.id. Right join return all join from the right table and the matched from the left table. If there is no match, null value are returned for column from the left table. Then, for example, the query for the right join, select employee ID, employee name, department name from employees, then right join department on employment.department_ID equal to department.id. Fourth one is the full outer join. Returns all rows from the table. If there is no match, null value are returned for columns from the table that doesn't have a match. So select employee.id as employee id, employee.name as employee name, departments.department underscore name as department, from employees left join department on employee.department underscore id equal to department.id. Then union, select employee.id as employee id, employee.name as employee name, department departments.department underscore name as department, from employees table right join department on employee.department id equal to department.id. They asked me what is the default join. So I said if you simply use the keyword join without specifying a type, SQL assume it as inner join, as an inner join. Default join, that is inner join. Select orders dot order id, customer dot name from orders, join customer on orders dot order underscore id equal to customer dot customer underscore id. So the result will be order id 1 and name will be Alice. They ask me what are the helpers in code igniters. So I said helpers are ready-made function to help you perform simple tasks quickly, like creating links, forms, or handling files. So they asked me how to use helper. So I said load helper, tell code igniter which helper you want to use. So this load helper and URL, load the URL helper. Then use helper function. After loading, just call the helper functions. So example, using base URL from the URL helper, then echo base underscore URL about. So output will be some URL, and then about will be there, base URL and then about is there. Common helpers example. So URL helper, first is a URL helper, helps create links and manage URL. This load helper URL, then echo base underscore URL home. So the output will be the URL and slash home. Form helper helps make form faster. This load helper form, echo from open user column submit, echo form underscore input username, echo form close. Then third is the text helper, shorten long text. This load helper text, so echo word limiter. This is very long sentence and I wrote 3 in the parameter, so it will show only three 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 words. This is a and then dot dot dot. Auto loading helper, to always load a helper automatically, edit application config autoload.php and add the helper names. Autoload bracket helpers equal to URL form. Then that is helper are just tool make coding faster and easier. So again they asked me how to load helpers. So I said load a single helper. Use load helper in controller or model. Then this load helper URL. Now you can use helper function like echo base URL about. So it will show the URL and slash about. Load multiple URLs. This load helper and in the parameter URL and form. So auto load helpers, if you want to helpers to always load automatically. Open application slash config slash autoload.php. Then find the section autoload helper equal to blank array and add your helpers autoload inside this helpers, and there you can assign in the parameter URL and form. This will load the helpers every time the application runs. That's it. Helper make your task faster and easier. Want help with a specific one. Okay. So helpers are generally they make your task faster and easier. Then how to declare helpers? Step to create and use a custom helper. So create a helper file. Navigate to application helpers folder. Create a new file. For example, my underscore helper.php, and this helper suffix should be underscore helper.php. Write function in the helper. Inside my underscore helper.php, you need to create a function PHP. If function doesn't exist, greet user function greet underscore user dollar name return hello. You see first dollar name and this one. So load the helper in your controller or model. This load helper my. Now you can use the greet underscore user function like this. Echo greet underscore user John. So it will show the output hello John. Auto load the helper of. Open application config autoload.php, then autoload helper, then you have to create my in the parameter. Key points: always use if not function exists function name to avoid conflicts. Helper files should not contain classes, only function. Okay. One form to another form. Next question they asked to be in the core PHP, how one form to another form we submit. So first of all, I said let us suppose we create a form1.php, and we have some, and we used action form2.php method. Let us suppose it's post. Then we have some label like name, input name, and then we have button, submit button is there. Second is the we have form2.php, and here we will check if is set post name is equal to their secure data with HTML special. So echo welcome name, else no data received. So form action result.php post input type hidden name value, and php echo name button type submit proceed button. So the HTML will be closed. Third form is create the final processing page, that is result.php. So result page, final page. So PHP, you have to write PHP code here. If is set underscore post name, so echo hello. This is the final page. And underscore dollar underscore post name. Else no data to display. So if simply you want to say them that how do you send from one page to another fan, you can tell them we have one form. User enters their name and submit it to the form 2, then display the name and passes it view hidden input to the next form. Final processing result.php will display the result. Methods in PHP. In PHP, methods are function defined inside a class. They perform operations on object created from that class. How to declare and use methods? So let us suppose we have a class person, and inside that we have the public method public dollar name. Then we have one construction method public function construct dollar name. So this name is equal to name. So custom method public function greet, then return hello this dollar this name. Creating an object and calling the method. Person1 is equal to new person, that is John. Then echo person1 greet. So output will be hello John. Type of methods in PHP. They asked me the next question. So I said that like we have the public method, private method, protected method, and static method. And some special method we have in PHP. So in public method, which is accessible from anywhere. Let us suppose public function show message and return this is a public method. Private method accessible only with the class. Private function secret message return this is a private method. Third is protected method, accessible within the class and subclass. Protected function protected message return this is a protected method. Fourth one is the static methods can be called without creating an object. Class method public static function add $a and b return $a plus $b. Echo math double colon add 5 10, so output will be 15. We have some special methods in PHP. Double underscore construct, the constructor method called when object is created. Double underscore destruct called when the object is destroyed. Double underscore toString convert an object to a string. Ninth question they asked me, array declaration in PHP. In PHP, array are used to store multiple values in a single variable. So type of array in PHP: index array, associate array, and multidimensional array. So index array, that is the numerical index. Elements are stored with the numeric keys. Let us suppose we have a variable fruits and we have array, and inside that we have apple, banana, orange. Second method, fruits, and we have our variable fruits, and in the square bracket we will write apple, banana, and orange. Accessing method echo fruit 1, so it will show the banana. So we have two kind of method in the index array. Second, associated array. Elements are stored with the named key person, and inside the bracket, that is square bracket, name is equal to John, age is equal to 25, city is equal to New York. So echo person name, so it will show the John. Multidimensional array. Array inside array. So let us suppose we have an variable name called $people. Inside that we have John, Jan, Mark. John 25, New York, and another one Jenny 30, Los Angeles, Mark 22, Chicago. So echo people 1 1, so it will show the output. So the output will be the 30 because 1 1 is the second element. Useful array function count and in bracket array, return the number of element in an array. Array underscore push in the bracket array and value adds element to end of an array. Then array underscore merge, array 1 array 2, merge 2 or more arrays. Then they asked me the cookies and the session. So I said session cookies store data client side on the user's browser for both logged in and non-logged in users. For session store data server side for logged in user. So in the cookie we use both logged in and logged out, logged in and non-logged in user, and in the case of the server we have only the logged in users. Then they ask me what is the client side and server side. So client side, the client side refers to operation process or code execution that happen directly to the user's device, usually in their web browsers. So this part of web development focus on creating the visual interface and user interaction. How client side work? When you open a website, your browser downloads the code like HTML, CSS and JavaScript from a server. The browser then renders the content and execute any interactive feature. Then, so the client side refers to operation process or code execution that happen directly on the user's device, usually in the web browser. Okay. So they asked me what are the client side. So I said the HTML define the structure of web pages, CSS cascading style sheets control the layout and style of pages. Third is the JavaScript adds dynamic feature and interactively. Then framework and library like the React, Angular, Vue.js for building advanced front-end application. Then example of client side. Why do we use a client side? Form validation without needing a server request. Animation and transition on web page. Pop-up alert or drop-down menus. Single page application like Gmail. So what are the advantages? fast, reduce the need of communicate with the server. Interactive, provide a better user experience. Work offline with technology like the PWA. Disadvantage security. Code is visual to the user and can be manipulated. Browser dependency. Not all browsers handle code uniformly. Now comes to the server side. The server side is everything that happens on a server. What is server? A powerful remote computer. When a user requests a website or perform an action. How it work? How it works? You open a website or fill out a form and click submit. Your request goes to the server. The server processes the request, fetch data, runs code. The server sends the result back to your browser. Technology, programming language PHP, Python, Node.js, and Java. Database MySQL, Postgres, SQL, and MongoDB. Example, logging into your account, retrieving product from e-commerce website, processing payment. So these are the server side. Okay. Now they ask me validation by how many methods. So I said method of validation in web development, client side, server side, and database validation and API validation. So in client side,